Imagine facing your biggest stressor and not feeling a thing. Sounds impossible, right? Well, in today's video on my channel, Tandis Charm Official, I am going to be talking to you about how to be mindful and how to cultivate peace in a really chaotic world while chaotic things are constantly happening. And we see it online, we see it in the news. It's like either we wake up and we scroll and we see something distressing, or maybe something personally distressing is happening in your life, or maybe you turn on the news and you see something crazy that doesn't make you feel right. And there's so many things that wouldn't make a person feel good when you turn on the news right now. And a lot of people on TikTok call it when you're about to lose it, when you're overwhelmed and in pain. They call it crashing out. I, for one, used to crash out a lot, but now I've cultivated peace because I've learned mindful practices and I've learned how to stay strong and how to cultivate peace of mind and pick and choose my battles in a lot of way mentally every day. And it really starts with learning to take things day by day, but that's a process. So, in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to cultivate the type of mindset that doesn't get easily affected or reactive to things that stress you out, or at least decrease it by 25%. So let's get down to business and let's talk about emotional reactivity and how we usually react, or how most human beings usually react when we're facing something that's upsetting or angering us. um when we're overwhelmed, and especially when I'm overwhelmed, most human beings usually react in a way that's expressing anger or snappiness or upset or frustration, or maybe even sadness over being overwhelmed in life, or crazy occurrences happening in your life, or maybe that you made a mistake and now you're having to deal with it, and it can cause you to lash out or get snappy and have your emotions all over the place. And it's not easy. It's not easy when you're feeling that way. And it feels like nobody else understands you. Like your mother doesn't understand you, your brothers don't understand you, your sisters don't understand you. No one doesn't understand you, and it makes you feel like you're the only one, which could actually lead to even more anger and upset and other emotions where you're just really emotional in a negative way. And you can't help it because it's completely normal, and it's completely human to feel this way. And I'm here to tell you that I've been there too, and I used to struggle with being really emotionally reactive when I was younger, especially when I was a teenager. I really liked that in an interview with Billie Eilish, and I feel like with an interview with someone else recently, where they were talking about how in elementary school or middle, no, in middle school, and in your teen years, like 15, 16 years old, it can really make you feel like it's the end of the world. It So many things that happen, your grades, maybe you went down a couple of grades and it just makes you feel like the end of the world is near. Maybe your crush haven't talked to you, or you said something that you wish you didn't say, and it just makes you feel um like, why am I here and I am not enough, and maybe say some really, really negative and low vibrational words that tear down your self-esteem, tear down who you are. And I used to do that a lot when it comes to things. I used to hate how shy I was. I used to hate how you know I couldn't raise my hand when I was like in school because I was too shy. And that was when I was in public school, because I was homeschooled most of my life. But I'm just talking about the times where, like, I had moments where I could, like, participate more, and I just didn't feel it within me. So got really angry about myself and had a lot of internal battles, and I would be snappy sometimes and really emotional. And the thing is that, if you're going through that, it's completely normal and human to feel that way. And if you want to at this moment while you're watching this video, I request for you to take a moment and breathe and exhale and acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge where you're at right now without labeling everything immediately, because it can add fuel to the fire, like fuel to the emotional fire. And it's really important to be mindful when you are in this state and constantly remind yourself to not act impulsively and make a quick decision for anything, so that you always make sure that you're making a decision that is based on wisdom, that's based on your internal wisdom, which is your intuition inside your mind and inside your inside yourself, like, um and to do that, like when we're facing really human experience things, like really like human problems, like bills or debt, or maybe you're feeling bad, you're feeling cringe because you did something publicly and you're feeling really terrible about it, or maybe you're feeling um just like angry, upset at anything, the news, is so important to realize that you're not the only one. There's always someone that's going through a situation that's similar to yours, and also that everything is temporary in life. Um, and I know that when it comes to things that feels like doom and gloom is just all like when it feels like doom and gloom is just over you, it's like, yeah, right, Tandis. Like, what are you talking about? Like, everything is temporary. But what I mean by that, when I say everything is temporary, is that, when I think about the bad memories, the childhood trauma that I endured as a child, and the things, and even the times that hadn't had to do with like childhood trauma and escaping abuse, like teenage problems, wanting my crush to talk to me, getting upset about myself, like my social skills, like just getting upset of where I'm at in life, and you know, cultivating the self concept that I hate my life, like cultivate the thoughts, the inner thoughts that I tell myself, like, oh, I hate my life. You know, it's so important not to just write off everything immediately. And when you are, you know, just beginning this journey of learning how to build emotional strength and learning how to be mindful, it can feel like it's a mountain, especially maybe if you have like internal problems or mental health problems. You know, you may feel like that's impossible. Maybe you have ADHD and you can't help that your you say and think things a certain way, or you can't focus on everything at the same time, like you can't focus that well and you feel bad about yourself. It's so important to take a moment and step back and remember that you're only human, and nothing is wrong with the way that you are right now. I was about to say nothing's wrong with the way that God designed you, but I know that not everybody believes in God. But I just want to say, like, nothing's wrong with the way that you are designed. Nothing's wrong with the way you are. And sometimes you do have to just like step back and remind yourself, like, especially if it's like a personality trait or a trait or a bad habit that you have that you feel really bad about. It's important to remember that you're only human and have a lot of self compassion for yourself. And this is the stuff that I wish I could have gotten advice for when I was a teenager, going through all the things that I've gone through. Because, like, I remember so many times when I was a teenager going through the problems that I went through, and they were real, they were valid. And I remember I used to send paragraph text after paragraph text to friends that I was friends with back then, and I would wear them out because when and and I'm not actually mad at anybody that stopped, like, that was kind of like worn out by it, like worn out by my paragraph text, because it's like when you have a lot going on in your life and you have a lot to say, a lot of emotions going on, it really is, you know um emotionally a lot, like it's a lot, especially if it's really low vibrational. And when you're a teenager, like when you feel things, sometimes it's like it's either really good or it's really bad, like, oh my god, I'm just going through death right now. And I can't really go into detail about everything because it's all love and light, but I'm just talking about, like, just in general. And if you're watching this video, I hope that you can kind of like get the vibe of this and you can apply it to your life, that whatever you're going through that's stressing you out, that's making you want to pull your hair out, even if it's like do or die, it's so important to keep your mind balanced by pausing for a minute and being mindful of your emotions. And when it comes to circumstances and scenarios that you're in that's unfortunate, always remember that everything is temporary. And like, because even the good moments, when I thought about it, like it was temporary, like it came and it went. The bad moments, it came and it went. And okay, thank you. Okay, excuse me, that was my mom calling me um from the kitchen, and I hope that didn't bother you. Maybe that just adds more to the YouTube video, but I'm going to keep on doing this because, side note, I have been trying to film all this week and I have been having problems with my microphone. As in, like, I thought it was charged and it wasn't charged, and my webcam was acting weird. But anyway, we're here, we're present. And what I was saying is that when you're a teenager, everything feels really high or really low. You either feel really good or you feel really bad. And if your crush haven't talked to you, feel just even worse. Like nobody's gonna love me. I used to think that I'll end up with cats, but now I realize that so many women on social media, like, are in the same spot that I'm in, like the exact same spot that I'm in. And thank God for TikTok and YouTube, because, like, those are the realest social media apps that we have right now. And it's so important to realize that even in your weakest moments, where you're crying, where you're upset, maybe you're praying to God, maybe you're just alone and you're just crying into your pillow about something, to know that the pain that you're feeling is temporary. And depending on your situation, you know, it will come and go, or you will learn to handle your emotions so well at one point as you continue to practice mindfulness and pausing and reflecting. You'll realize that, wow, I really did come through such a really hard and dark time in my life, and things got 1% better, or 2% better, or 3% better. And whatever percentage that your life gets, due to you learning to pick and choose your battles, learning to have proper self love, learning to brush off bad vibes, like brush off like the bad memories and bad times that you went through, and learning to focus on you, you'll be thankful. You'll look back, you may grow older, and you'll be thankful to yourself and thinking, wow, I am so glad that I learned to be less emotionally reactive, and I learned to focus on me And I'm so glad that I learned to practice boundaries if you needed to, if you need to, because it's so like, however you interpret this video is however you interpret it. And that's the right mindset to have when it comes to dealing with day to day things. It's a classy mindset, it's a feminine mindset, it's a poised mindset to have. And it shows that you're unbreakable, you're unshakable, and you're unstoppable. And you know, the little things or the big things or circumstances cannot rock you because you know how to find peace and joy in the chaos, anyways. When we allow ourselves to be emotionally reactive, we end up saying or doing things that we don't actually mean. And then it adds even more to your life. That like it adds even more negativity into your life, and it makes you feel even more worse about things. And those are completely human like traits. Like when you're doing or saying things like that, it's human. But what this video is all about is learning to be 1% more in control of how you react to things, and learning emotional control and being strong. And when I was a teenager, I used to go through so much, like self-esteem issues, body dysmorphia. Um, I used to be in and out of an eating disorder, kind of, which I was not sure if I wanted to talk about on YouTube, but there I said it, in and out of it sometimes, depending how sad I was about my life, depending how sad I was. Sometimes I was happy and I was healthy and eating healthy and like healthily skinny, and then there's times where I was sad and I didn't eat. And trigger warning for this video, because I don't want nobody to feel like bad um while watching this. This is just like a real sit down type of conversation for somebody that's going through things that's um that's messing with your subconscious mind, that's like making you feel like you're at the bottom, or maybe you are at the bottom. I want to encourage you to uplift yourself. And this video is meant to uplift and motivate people to be their best selves. And it's not easy, it's a journey being your best self. And when I was younger, I had no idea about that. A lot of teenagers are lost. I was just actually watching like a TikToker that I really like, that um he's famous. He's actually still very famous, but he's like a little TikTok crush that I have. And he was talking about how when he was younger he was felt like really lost. It's like everybody have different type of stories. Some people were lost in high school, some people had fun, some people were lost during their homeschooling journey. Some people had fun, some people had a bit of both, you know but um when I was younger, I didn't see things from a clear perspective, and I want to encourage you, the viewer, to um journal and take the time to get to know you. And also in this video, I'm going to talk about some other great techniques, because I'm not just about just bashing your life, bashing yourself, bashing everybody in your journal. That's the wrong way to journal, in my humble opinion. That is one way to journal and release however you feel, whatever that's stressing you out on paper. That is one way to journal, but there is a much more effective way that's not about bashing or talking crazy about people, but actually learning to heal your situation, heal your life, learning to release and let go, and learning to focus yourself on self love, high self esteem, and becoming your best self. And we're going to get into that in the rest of this video. So, in this video, I promised you that I was going to teach everyone a better way about how to deal and regulate your emotions that you are feeling, no matter how complex and chaotic you feel in your no matter how complex or chaotic you feel your emotions are at this moment. When I'm on TikTok or Instagram or just scrolling down like diary talk where people do journaling and stuff like that, people usually have complaints and they talk about how they wish they can keep a cute diary. They wish that they can like make a diary where they're just writing about all the light and fluffy things that happen in their life, but they end up talking crazy about people in their diary or bashing people in their diary, or it's just so negative. Not even about people, not even about people that they know, but it's just so negative that they just don't want to go back to the diary entries and reread them. Like they couldn't imagine like keeping it and being like, "Oh yeah, that was me when I was 15. I remember that diary entry." Yeah. Um and I can relate to that common problem that people have when it comes to reading a diary, and well, reading and writing a diary. And also, God forbid if somebody actually steals your diary and then all of a sudden, relationships that you had is burnt. Maybe you said something that was crazy, now it's crazy. But and when you're a teenager, you're feeling so many strong feelings. It can be about like other schoolmates or a boy that you like, or somebody that's picking on you, or maybe your parents, or maybe if you're a young adult like me, maybe it's like your circumstances, like you just, you know, you have a strong dislike for your circumstances that you're in, and you wish that things could get better. And the thing is that all of that is completely human, all of that's completely normal to feel. When you have emotions, it's good to acknowledge them and not just shut them down. Journaling and venting unfiltered is a great way to release frustration, pent up emotions that just need to be let out. But I feel like when I think about like the old me, like the me that always tried to keep a diary, sometimes I couldn't because people would try to run and read it and it would just be like a mess. But the time when I tried to keep a diary, I can say that, um, you know, that was effective at one point, but then when you're just like venting, like when you're just stuck in the same consciousness where everything is just terrible, your life is terrible, you're terrible, you keep writing like, oh, I hate my life, oh, he did this, she did that, this is why I hate my life. Like if it's just coming off like that in your diary, like and these are your real emotions that you're feeling, um you know it'll feel relieving at first, but then day after day after day, you're just writing the same low vibrational stuff. Um, the same negative stuff that's going on. You're still focusing on those things, which at this point you can't help. It just makes you feel just worse. It just makes you feel bad. And it doesn't actually help you elevate consciousness. Like it doesn't help you become mentally strong. It doesn't help you cultivate the type of mindset that's resilient, the type of mindset that can find peace within chaos. Because, you know, as like if you're a teenager watching this, I also want to say like, I'm not going to say every era of your life is going to have a crazy chaotic moment where it's like whoa whoa whoa, but there'll be good times and there'll be crazy times too that you have to push through things, and it's really really good to cultivate this tool of properly regulating your emotions so that you can present yourself in a good way in life, and you can release those emotions that you have about everything going on in your life. And you cannot, and also when you journal the way that I'm about to teach you, you not only release, but you also embrace loving kindness and forgiveness to everyone, to your situation, to your circumstances, and yourself, and all. And it's life changing. And I call this process of journaling called journaling to reflect. And when you journal about a situation, before you even open the diary, if you're heated, emotional, upset, scattered, chaotic, everything just feels out of place, before you just start ranting and raving in your diary, you take a moment. Maybe you can put on brown noise or song that you really like, or maybe like nature sounds, something like that. And then you just acknowledge how you feel. Whether it's anger, upset, sadness, confusion, maybe you're upset about your situationship, maybe you're not sure where you stand, maybe you're having inner conflict, maybe you're upset at your parents or your people or friends, or you're surviving a breakup of some sort. You just sit and reflect and sit with your emotions for a second, for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, or 1 minute, really. Really, I would say 1 minute. And you're just acknowledging your emotions for a second. And as you do this, I want you to realize that this moment where whatever that's happening to you, it's temporary, because change is inevitable. And you can positively change your life when you choose to be mindful and, later on pick and choose your battles as you journal. And that everything is temporary, and like whatever that you're feeling right now, it's like, imagine like bad memories, like clouds in the sky, like they pass, and then you're not attached to it. Imagine that you're not attached to like negative thoughts or memories or certain things like that. And then after you do that little meditation, then you write down how you feel about what you are going through, whatever scenario that is. And I don't want you to put on an act. I don't want you to act like somebody else, but just still write how you feel and express exactly how you feel emotionally. And I want you to write how you like everything that you feel. And then I want you to write how you reacted to the situation that you went through. What was your reaction? And then after you do that and left all your emotions on pages, then I want you to back up, and then I want you to, like, if you believe in God, pray. If you are into meditating, meditate. If you're into just like, I don't know, taking a brisk walk or whatever, that's good too. Or just take a moment to again acknowledge like how you feel. Maybe you feel really relieved after leaving it all in your diary. And then take a moment and pray for clarity, pray for solutions that will actually bring you peace in your situation that you're not really happy with, or an answer and again a solution to your problem. Put your hands, clasp together, or just a silent prayer or something like that. And you may not get an answer immediately, but doing this and like doing like that before writing in your diary, and then after writing in your diary, grounding yourself again, it helps you acknowledge your feelings and see how you're actually reacting to things that's causing this. Like, not everything is the cause of you. Like when you are reacting to things, like when things are happening, like your circumstances, like it can be anything. Like, I didn't want to bring up me exactly, but I'll just bring it up. Like, one day I was upset because um what was it? No, what was I upset about? One day I was upset because I wish I had like some more money, and I was unhappy about it. But I know that taking it out anything or getting snappy at someone will not make me any richer. And it'll actually cause problems. And that's a real problem. Real circumstance, real problem. And instead of doing that, I just shut my room in the privacy of my own room. And I just write in my diary and ground myself, because I know that this too shall pass, or everything is temporary. And I know that, like, even after writing my diary, like, this is not a quick fix to just make everything feel better. Money will not just fall out the sky. But what I am doing, I'm growing amazing fruitful skill of being mindful and learning how to carry myself and my emotions and whatever problems that I have, with grace, with sophistication, and with confidence. And after you do that journaling thing, the journaling technique, then I want you to take a break from it, close it up, whatever hiding spot that you have, hide it. If it's a digital journal, that's even better. You just keep it, just keep your diary app password protected. Um and do something that'll get your mind off everything. Watch a movie, go out for a walk, something like that. And then I want you to go back to your diary again, but this time I want you to ground yourself again. And whether it's a prayer and breathing in and out, remembering that you can get through this, this too shall pass, everything is temporary. And then I want you to go back and look at your recent diary entry where you talked about everything. And instead of getting emotionally engrossed about it all over again, I want you to pretend like you are your best friend, somebody that really wants you to thrive. They really want to see you win. And I want you to detach yourself from what you've written and look at things from a view of that, like a friend that really wants you to start loving yourself and pouring back into yourself. And then look at the situation at hand. And then after you read it and thought to yourself about like the problems as your own best friend, then I want you to write down, so what would like if I had a best friend that like loved me, like she wants me to be like into more self-love, she wants me to learn to have more confidence or more self-esteem, she just wants me to do better in life and gain more peace, then what would I do? What would she advise me to do? um and then on the next page, I want you to write down like things that you will do for now on, so that you can cultivate more peace of mind and be a more productive human being. And Maybe just like write down notes, a sticky note, a reminder of whatever that you need to be reminded of. Um, and write down like what would your best friend say? How would she react to this? Because sometimes when we don't think that way, when we're just so emotionally engrossed, especially with me, like from personal experience, when I'm very emotionally engrossed in a situation, um, and I'm very attached to it, I can't think straight. But when I allow myself to be mindful and acknowledge and accept how I feel, and then get busy doing something else, then ground myself again, and then open up my diary and read it to myself, but not in a way where I'm getting attached to it again and all out of sorts, but just like as my own best friend, and thinking again and making the point to think from a place of self-love. Like it helps me um be more grounded. And about that time when I got really angry and snappy about putting in the effort and not receiving money, I grounded myself and I looked at more videos about, affiliate marketing, like which is one of my side hustles that I'm working on right now. And it's a progress thing. Like it takes time and it's all about consistency. And it takes 6 to 12 months to maybe several years to make it work. And that's something that still didn't make me completely feel good, because being patient and having faith is something that I am personally working on. Like it's still not easy, but it helped me. Like I've written down in my diary, I was like, I need to learn to have more patience, more faith. I need to learn to just be in flow, and then also take a break, because watching more videos about how to grow your platform online is just going to drive you even more crazier. Watching more videos about how to grow on YouTube or TikTok or whatever is just going to drive you more crazy when you already did it, but you want to go back to more videos because you're angry, snappy, and pissed. Not good at all. Not good at all. And when I recognized that about myself, it was like I seen myself in a mirror. And when you focus on positive things that's going on in your life, it often grows. And when you allow yourself to see yourself from that perspective, you'll start glowing, becoming more radiant, and becoming an it girl, because you're learning to pick and choose your battles and think from a logical standpoint when you're highly emotional, which takes skill, it takes time, and it's not easy. But I feel like that you'll be able to practice this, because I started this not too long ago and it helped me a lot. And I believe it'll help you too. And the foundation of this technique is about mindfulness. And it's about acknowledging and accepting where you're at, acknowledging and accepting your emotions, and tapping into your resilience too, and having faith in yourself, faith in God, faith in something, even though you have no idea what's the outcome of it. And it can be towards goals that you have, or things that you want to do, or strive to be, or strive to become. Um, and it's not easy, but it does help. It does help. And believing in something bigger than your situation, bigger than than you, helps a lot. That's why I reference God, of course, but you know, believing in yourself is a big part of the journey too. And believing that you're capable of overcoming whatever negative challenge that you're going through, because you can. Now, let's talk about my personal transformation and how I applied this into my life without giving it a name or a title, and how it transformed my life and how I became more grounded and peaceful, and cultivating peace of mind. And it all happened at the ripe age of probably 20 or 21, when I was in the thick of the panoramic, and I ended up being on the brink of homelessness with my family. And you know, everybody doesn't get along, and but we had to stick together, and I had to empty my savings account, which I was going to use for my skincare company because I love doing DIYs. Like ever since I was a child, I've always been into DIYs, hair care, DIY makeup. So it was a no brainer that my calling in life was to make hair oil. And I made like hair oil from aloe vera extract that used to make your skin feel so smooth and so soft. And when I'm able to get more, I just make it for myself for now. But I was saving all of my money from my minimum wage little job that I had to buy a thermal printer, to start buying things, to invest in things, to invest in my website. But then it ended up not working out, and my plans were changed, like many other Americans at that time. And like many other Americans as well, a lot of people got kicked out of their home. A lot of people are probably still facing homelessness. And you know, I don't take where I'm at for granted, even though I can be unhappy sometimes. But a lot of people was kicked out of their homes that time. And I remember a long time ago, which I used to laugh about with one of my siblings. I used to be like, we're the lucky ones. And because we lived in a really nice home. And then not too later after I said that, my mother announced that we're gonna have to be leaving our forever home in 30 days. And I just invested my money in an L-shaped table, which was too big for my room. I wish I could return it to Amazon, but I didn't know how, because I want to turn my room into an office and start building a business. And we had a lot of space, and it didn't work out. And it was a really hard time, very emotional time, more emotional than what I thought, because I've always been the type of happy-go-lucky person to be like, change doesn't hurt me. I love change, but only when it's good. But when it's not good, it's like nobody wants to go through change. Um, and I had to empty out all my savings, combined with what my mother could scrounge up at the time and my other siblings could scrounge up at the time, so that we can get a down payment in an apartment, so that we can, not be homeless. Because it was like we thought we was gonna have to like throw all of our clothes, all of our belongings on the street, and just like sleep in a broken car for forever. Like we thought that was how it's going to be in our life, because nobody had the money back then. Like that 1,200 stimulus check, that $1,200 stimulus check, it came and it went. I remember I wanted to buy things with it, but then it was like I didn't have enough money. I had to like, my mom didn't have no money. We were hungry. I remember I was using. Oh yeah, also I spent up my money around that time. Door dashing, and people might just think, why would you do DoorDash? Is because at that time, um, no, it was like at the end, and maybe I could have did groceries, but I just like I wasn't door dashing because like I wanted to eat fast food, but like it was just the easiest, most accessible food at that moment. And I was steadily unpacking, packing stuff. And also I was trying to push myself out of like the fear mindset after getting sexually assaulted by someone, down the street, which I would gladly walk down the street, but I was like so sensitive back then, so sensitive minded. So I was like, I don't want to really go out. And I was trying to get myself to go out. So that was that time. Very catastrophic, very not good. And so we moved. Thankfully we found a house. We barely got in. Not house. apartment, excuse me, apartment. And thankfully we were able to get in. Um, and the toilets were clogged, everything was clogged. And I kind of became angry at life, and my emotions were on 10. I was no longer that teenager that still had very valid and real problems, but also lived a soft life at the same time. I had no clue, but now I was going through deeper adult problems like um, the fear of homelessness and like knowing and not knowing where your next meal is going to be, and not knowing if you can even survive, like survival mode problems, which I had never experienced up until now at 22 years old. And I was bitter at one point, especially in the beginning. But then I remember I went outside. I had a teacup and I had some green tea. And I was like, I'm so happy that I have this teacup and the green tea because it was something to just to hang on to be grateful for. And I just went outside. The patio was really smelly and it reeked of urine. Cause when I first got here, everybody said they don't fix nothing over here. So, so the toilets wasn't fixed. The toilets were like overflowing. Like things like that were happening like crazy. But I went outside anyway and I just enjoyed the cool air. And that really made me, that was something that had nothing to do with items and merchandise that made me happy. I was like, the cool, brisk air. It's my favorite weather. And this is my favorite tea. And I'm just able to just relax and drink it. And then one day, again, angry, angry, bitter, whatever. Okay, my webcam kind of like was acting funny again, so bear with me. But like I was saying, I was outside in a white t-shirt with my afro out, not braided in a bun like as you see. And then the upstairs neighbors pour urine down the steps. And who knows what their situation is upstairs. But they pour it down the steps. And it gets in my hair, and I don't know what type of urine it was really. Um, and instead of losing my mind, crying fanatically, going crazy, I just actually start laughing in a childlike way, and that was my turning point because I realized that I was at rock bottom. This is rock bottom. Like this is rock bottom. I'm blessed because I have shelter, but this is my personal lowest that I've ever been in my life. And I realized that whatever I've been doing, like this bitterness, this angriness, it's not me. I never been that type of person. I've never been that type of person in my life. Bitter, angry. I've never been a bitter black woman. I've always been a happy go lucky, feminine, energy black woman. And it was at that moment where a light switched. And I was like, something's got to give. My currency, like my energy that I'm giving, like I'm just going to talk real spiritual for a minute, but like my vibration, like I own nothing. But one thing that I have control over is my vibration, which is the way that I react to things, the way that I entertain things, the way, like, and how I relieve myself of things energetically, my vibration. When you raise your vibration high, you attract better things in your life, money, opportunities, things like that, and things you're trying to manifest. When it's low, it's hard to attract what where you want to be at, and that's just truthful. Like when you're in a down, bad, bitter attitude, you can't like Be like, you can't, like, if I seen somebody that said, "Oh, I want to be a famous movie star," but she's talking all crazy, or her head's low and she's looking dingy, she's not putting any effort in who she is. Like, I'll be like, okay, I guess she's just talking. Like, when your vibration is low, you just, like, you're not a reciprocal to what you want to be. Like, you're not like the person that will easily attracted. And it was at that moment I realized that I um was not powerless. I took back my power. I started laughing. And then I just washed my hair and changed my clothes. And it was at that moment I realized, so I'm at rock bottom. Okay. But what I'm not going to do is allow this to define me. I'm going to start reading books. I'm going to start getting into podcasts. I'm going to make a list of all the resources I have at this moment to start building some type of wealth. And I'm going to start putting in the effort and have faith somehow that everything's going to work out, and just keep it pushing. And I was really lost at that time, but that was one thing I knew that I wouldn't do. And I started practicing compassion over my life, compassion over my circumstances, and compassion over myself, and learning to forgive all in my life, forgive myself, and consciously embody love and kindness to everyone, my circumstances, and myself, because I didn't want to feel bitter no more. And when I tell you that it changed my life, it really did change my life. I started writing down what I want, praying for what I desire, and I did manifest quite a few things. I would repeat to myself before I go to sleep, like, I'm wealthy. I would visualize that I'm wealthy. And then the next day, I found some money um on my patio that I cleaned off with Clorox and everything, and made it look super shiny, and made it my new hangout spot for now, which gives me so much joy. And then the next day, another time, I found like a $2 bill. And I was like, yay, I can like add this to something and like buy something to eat. And I treated myself. And even though, like, I say I'm wealthy, like, my affirmation is wealthy, I didn't ask for quarters, God. I didn't ask for quarters and dimes and dollar bills. But the thing is that it works. And if you continue and be persistent in that, it does work. And a big part of being in control of my vibration and attracting greater opportunities and good things in my life is also about how I react to the negative situations, because I'm not the type of person that believes in the law of attraction where I'm like, everything's happy go lucky, everything's great. Now, there are a lot of times where I do feel like that, and then there are times where I don't feel like that, and that's completely human and normal, and I've normalized that for myself. And the trick is that learning to not just fake positivity, but learning to regulate your emotions by journaling and talking to a friend about it, or talking to somebody about it, or venting to, hey, AI about it, and they'll give you some great solutions too, and a great strategy about how to overcome it, if you want to. And allowing yourself to feel bad, allowing yourself to be mad, allow yourself to be in the mental state of that, but also recognizing the good as well. Like, not forcing yourself to be positive, but just recognizing, like, okay, I'm so mad that, like, this is happening in my life, but I am thankful that the sun came out today. I am thankful that I have a fully functioning body. I am thankful that my heart is healthy right now, but I'm not happy though right now. And that's good enough. And that's real life. And that's how I practically apply the law of attraction, you know, into that in my life. And it has changed my life in great ways. And I have faith that my channel is going to grow really big. And You know, the good thing is that every time something good happened, like an intention, I would just write down my personal success story. So on low days or on days where I feel antsy, anxious, why isn't my followers growing up? Why am I still on zero subscribers? Why am I still on one, two, or five views? Um, I don't look at that. And I'm training myself daily, you know, to not look at that and just take inspired action, which is editing content and putting it out and vibing with my own community that's just naturally gravitated to my personality and my energy. And it really has benefited my life in a great way. Now, it's not easy, but like some days it's easier than others. But when you persistently apply it, you become in alignment with what you desire. And it's really positive and it's really good. Um, and that's my personal story about how I overcame bitterness, the bitterness of being SA'd, the bitterness of change and great financial loss and disturbing stuff, to becoming the woman that I am now, still growing, still elevating, but in a so much better headspace that I just have to share it with you online. And I hope that you share it with anybody else that's going through the same thing like I'm going through, or anything else. Any problem of, you know, any type of big problem, actually. Journaling my reactions to my life or scenarios or things like that, and actually looking at it from, not from an emotional perspective, but as my own best friend perspective, that's embodying self-love fully. It helps me plan better responses, and it helps me make better choices that will lead to more peace of mind when I choose to be that, when I choose to do that. And of course, I just want to repeat again in this video that the golden rule that I have found out by my personal development journey, by life teaching me, is that before talking in a heated conversation, before responding to something where you're really emotional and you're in the moment, it is in your best interest at heart to take a moment, step back, and breathe in and out and acknowledge how you feel, and then respond in a way that is classy, or respond in a way that is more calm, cool, and collected. Because when you respond that way, then like when you're emotional, you're in the heat of the moment, it can really, change your life. It's all about like picking and choosing your battles, picking and choosing whether a situation or a person that you're interacting with on a daily basis is worth your energy, worth your effort, worth your time, and is it worth your peace of mind? That's the answer. That's the thing to think about. Is it worth your peace of mind? And that's the thing to journal about. If interacting with this person the way that you want to worth your peace of mind, and if it's not, what can you do instead that will help you navigate for the time being? And everything that I'm talking about in this video is all about emotional intelligence and how to cultivate it. But I just gave it like a different name. I mean, well, it's the same thing. Like, I'm teaching everybody how to be less emotionally reactive, but not like to turn yourself into a robot, to just be more in control of your energy and your time, and learning how to redirect into something more productive, or something that'll help you not get into a stressful situation that will disturb your peace. And emotional intelligence takes time. If you're watching this video thinking that, wow, she's really smart for doing this, but I can't see myself responding like that. I can't see myself, being perfect, learning to control my vibration, learning to control how I think and feel. It takes time. And it's okay that you feel that way. Again, like even with that, it's okay to acknowledge that, but it's a journey thing. It's a process thing. Being emotionally intelligent is not going to happen overnight. It's just about taking time to understand yourself and understand your emotions and learning to care for yourself better by controlling, you know who you give your power to on a daily basis. Understanding your triggers is the key to becoming more emotionally intelligent and learning how to maneuver around it, because that's you. That's all you, and nothing's wrong with having those triggers, but it's all about learning to take your power back from circumstances and becoming unshakable and unstoppable. Oh. So I just want to finish up the video real quick. I'm using my phone because my web camera have been giving me hell recently. So anyways, I want to talk about the action part when it comes to emotional intelligence. It's not easy, and that's why it's a journey, and it takes time to practice gratitude on a daily basis and reflecting on yourself on a daily basis and journaling on a daily basis. It takes time, but as you continue doing this activity and this, exercise, you will become more and more emotionally intelligent. And also, let's not forget about forgiveness. No matter what happened to you, who did something to you, what person did something to you, or he said, she said, anything that's just getting under your skin right now, it's so important to work on forgiveness, because that is the time where you will truly be let free. And it can be hard, but it is so important to your healing journey and to your personal development journey to truly let go of things and not feel bitter. Like, just let things go. And because, like, life goes on, and your pain and how you feel and the reason why it's hard for you to forgive, it's valid. But at the same time, most people that you're having a hard time forgiving, or most situations that are like that you're having a hard time forgiving, they're going on in their lives. Like, things are still happening, people are going on in their lives, and you're the ones that's still hurting. So it's so important to learn to let go and focus on the version of you that is healed, that is whole, and that is in control of her emotions. And that is a it girl trait. And if you want to be an it girl, you have to work on your emotional intelligence. Also, focusing on the positives is very hard too. Um, And how I focus on the positives, I'm not always trying to make myself feel all of the emotions of just feeling good, but it's about just acknowledging that, also, like, that even on your worst days, yeah, I may feel like this, but also I do have a bunch of good things happening at the same time. And it's not about just forcing yourself to be positive, but it's just about acknowledging how you feel and just like gently observing and acknowledging, you're like, yeah, I do have that too, but allowing yourself to be mad. And that's how I practice gratitude every day. It's like just putting in the effort, trying a teeny bit. And some days when you're actually in the mood, it's good to just allow yourself to feel all those juicy feelings when you naturally can, about the things that you already have that you're still really grateful for. And it's a continuous practice. And since we're still on this topic about emotional intelligence and emotional control, You know, the amazing thing that I found out while on this journey is that you end up inspiring others to do the same thing themselves. And, you know, it's like you're kind of like a mirror. You make people want to change when you embody this because it's like it's showing your inner strength. It's showing that you're choosing you. It makes other people want to choose themselves too. And by practicing emotional intelligence, you end up being the main character. Not because you're trying to, not because you're full of yourself, but it's because, you know, people can see that you're growing, you're committed to growth, and it's aspirational. So embrace emotional intelligence and remember that's not about perfection. It's not about like journaling, even though I talked a lot about that in this video, but it's about learning to be compassionate towards yourself and learning to realize that you're human on even on days where you want to be superhuman or you want to be perfect. You're only human, and it's about being kind to yourself and others. You define yourself by how you react to life, not by what's around you. You choose peace over conflict and stay committed to your emotional growth, you'll become more peaceful and fulfilled in every area of your life. And become an it girl. So, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. And here's a question I want to ask you. When was the last time that you reacted emotionally towards something? How did you feel? And if you can think from a place of like being your own best friend, somebody that really wants you to see you win, a person that really embodies self-love, what does the new you do now? What would the new version of you do now to help you stay more aligned to your best version of yourself? I would love to know in the comments section. And also subscribe to my Medium blog site where I've written a blog article about this same topic, and subscribe to my newsletter where I write content regularly about makeup, it girl fashion, um, and budget friendly stuff that anybody can, afford and stuff like that. Also, I make exclusive content about how to become a better version of you. So if you're into that, subscribe to my Substack newsletter. Thank you for watching this video. Share this video if you want. Bye-bye.